Hello and welcome to C++ Weekly. I'm your host, Jason Turner. I am available for code reviews and on-site training. In this episode, I want to talk about the new features from C++ 23 that allows us to put attributes on lambdas. Before I continue, I do want to remind you to check out the video description for information about this episode and other ways that you can be involved with C++ Weekly, as well as upcoming workshops that I might have going on. Okay, at first glance, this is going to seem pretty straightforward, and honestly, it is. Now, I've just declared a lambda called L that returns the value 42. And I can call it, and I don't get that warning anymore saying that my lambda L was unused. Now, as of C++ 23, and I'm currently in C++ 20 mode, and I'll leave it there to illustrate what's going on here, I can mark the return value of this function as no discard. And then I get ignoring return value from this lambda. Hey, that works exactly like it's supposed to. Although GCC isn't giving us another warning that it really should. So let's switch to Clang. Clang says an attribute specifier sequence in this position is a C++ 23 extension. Clang is correct. We need to put that in C++ 23 mode. And now we get this ignoring return value from the function declared no discard. And that's it. You're now allowed officially to put attributes on lambdas. Let's go ahead and break this down real quick though. This is morally equivalent to having created a user-defined type that has an operator paren overload. That's the call operator that takes 0 parameters. That is by default const, and it is constexpr, and it has an auto return type, and it returns the value 42. So it looks just like this. Now, I did already cover in a previous episode that as of C++ 23, we can actually mark this thing static. But by making it static, it no longer makes sense for it to be const. So when I put this no discard attribute here, I put the no discard here. It is at the beginning of the function declaration. And if I wanted to do something like no inline, then I can explicitly tell the compiler to not inline this function, and I can as well place that here, which, well, the compiler ignored me, it still inlined it, and simply returned the value 42 from main. Well, anyhow, there's another place where you can put attributes on lambdas. And I spent a fair bit of time discussing on Twitter what exactly the meaning of this would be. This is an attribute that applies to the type of the function. Now, it is very clear that this does not apply to the return type from the function. It applies to the type of the function itself. So I could actually declare the function type itself to be deprecated. And this is not just something that was made up for lambdas and is therefore weird lambda nonsense. This is actually perfectly valid to put right here. And this was part of this process of discovery while preparing for this episode. I had no idea that you could specify function attributes right here. Now, there's a few other places where attributes can actually apply inside lambdas, but they don't really actually apply to the C++ 23 changes. For example, you can declare a parameter as maybe unused, and you can also put attributes around requires clauses. We're not going to get into that. But you must appreciate the proliferation of possible attributes that can be applied and the number of square brackets that we might take advantage of when declaring a lambda. So let's just leave this episode here. C++ 23 allows function attributes on lambdas. They can go before the parens and they apply to the function. They can go after the parens and they apply to the type of the function, for whatever that means, because I have found absolutely no meaningful way to exercise this, and asking on Twitter did not help a lot either. So thank you for watching this episode of C++ Weekly. Be sure to subscribe.